there's this really weird game that's about you remember? Do you know Balaugo, the old Russian tale about the witch and the witch who eats bad children?
Hansel and Gretel?
I honestly, it might be the same story. I think Baba Yaga, Hansel and Gretel, and Cinderella might all be like the same general idea of the same story.
Huh. I mean, I guess that would make sense. Because I'm assuming it would be like Baba Yaga is like the more like freaky version of Hansel and Gretel. And Hansel and Gretel is the same story, but more, I guess, sweetened up a little bit. It's still dark, but it's like sweetened up a little bit.
Though Baba Yaga is more like Santa, like an evil Santa Claus, because it's like a children's story where like if you're good, she'll bring you candy. If she's bad, she'll she'll catch you in her cauldron and then like boil you and eat your bones.
Oh shit! Okay, interesting.
There's this one picture. I'm gonna put it up here. She's like riding her cauldron, but it looks like she's going like 100 miles per hour. Like that.
Yo, what kind of fucking Final Fantasy 14 mount is she riding, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
Bro, yeah, what the fuck? What kind of bro? You know what, bro? If you put this around like a Magic the Gathering like card, it's that. It's perfect.
That's the one good thing. Magic the Gathering does have a very like European fairy tale look to some of the cards. They'll go from that, especially the death cards.
Yeah.
A lot of the vampires look like that too, at least from what I remember. But there was this other horror game called the Chomp X, which was like you played as like a weird Baba Yaga, and people came from like after like their village got destroyed.
Right.
And they like slowly go crazy into the point of capitalism, and that kind of reminds me of this too.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah,
But not the
just,
capitalism.
yeah. For reference, so I now being in college and stuff, I just joined a club room, and it's a bunch of just gamers, very geeky, very nerdy, some very weird, but we're not gonna talk about those. But they play a lot of Magic the Gathering, so like I've seen some bits and pieces of Magic without never playing it before in my entire life.
It's a totally fine game. I want to say personally, to like the greatest perfects I played is still my favorite like card games I think I've played is Magic is definitely good and fundamental, but Four Souls is a pretty good multiplayer variation of that because it's just like Magic the Gathering but like on a bullet train.
And don't forget, Slay Spires, this card game is gonna come out soon as well, so that should be fucking exciting.
Well, did you see the Kickstarter? They just started. You're a bit too excited.
Did they?
Yes, that was like early like screenshots.
Oh wait, so they started it?
Oh,
shit.
I don't know if they started it. I was just saying like those are the announcement. Like.
Okay. Let's say if they started, I didn't know about it. God damn.
But
like.
Also, Hearthstone is ridiculous because it's just. Oh, I loved Hearthstone when I was playing. Do you remember like that mech build I had going?
Yeah.
Like, it was minions on top of minions that when you killed those minions, other minions got buffed. It was
right. I think Hearthstone as a game. I think Hearthstone and Yu-Gi-Oh share a lot of. I think Hearthstone and Yu-Gi-Oh are definitely games I feel like I like more as like card games like Magic the Gathering. Because I really would consider Four Souls a like gathering like Magic Gathering like. It's Munchkins. That's what it is.
But
I think it's a completely different like board game like type
honestly,
of game.
The difference, like the perfect in between doing it, and I would say like the closest card game I could say is feasible is Inscription. I genuinely like Inscription's gameplay from like a card game element to the point where if the creator was like, we are doing a limited time run where we are releasing like this big booster box of all the Inscription cards, I would definitely buy it. Yeah.
I'm also buying that for sure.
Yeah. But enough about that. This is going to be the
let's play the video
longest Slay the Princess non-episode ever.
Okay, here's what we can do. We can either leave that all in,
Let's
or
cut
we
that out
cut
and put
it.
that as a bonus episode.
Yeah.
Bonus thing.
Bonus talk.
Yeah,
Bonus
yeah.
talk.
Except for I'm keeping the. I don't know. You know what? I'm cutting it out. But that's bonus episode.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing it now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I think the issue with the metaphorical question of chicken or egg comes to the whole idea, I think, that we're thinking about how the chicken started and where it came from. Because personally, I think that the chicken exists because it evolved throughout other generations. If that makes any sense? Like,
Okay, I cut this part out already. Let's get on.
okay. But here we go.
Oh, you want to actually want to do this?
No, yeah, we're gonna
Okay,
go over this.
okay,
Okay. Wait, what do you believe? Start. What do you think? Chicken or egg?
Technically it came from the egg first, but that's an oxymoron because it came from like small bacteria and eventually like weird reptiles that laid eggs that eventually became fish that evolved into mammals. So it's a but I think the question is more simpler than that. It's more of a philosophical question, whether like was a creature created or did it come from something?
Right. And I think personally think egg, mostly because I think it just came from something. It's just it's an evolutionary chain from something else, and the chicken was born through that evolutionary change.
So this is gonna be the name of the episode: the chicken and the egg paradox.
It's just like it's an interesting question because it's something we're never really going to know. It's just a dumb question people ask for fun, I think. It's the same idea of like Schrodinger's cat in a way, or like ask. No one ever will know.
I think it's an interesting question because you can actually get a person's viewpoint of how religious they are, depending on how they answer it. Weirdly enough.
Right, that is true. That is a good point. Because if they say if they're more religious and stuff, they'll probably most likely say chicken, right? Because they believe the chicken was created by God. So
well, not all religion is a
not all,
concept,
but
you know.
like I think like more than average.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a conversation that has been looped on for the past, I don't know,
Millions
400 years.
400 years. Yeah, it's the same idea of like Schrodinger's cat, to where like it's one of those weird questions that you really will never find an answer to. It's just an idea of displaying ideas and concepts.
Except for the weird part about Schrodinger's cat was actually also a real experiment, which was for animal psychology. Doesn't it like disprove like logical science or whatnot? Isn't that the whole point of Schrodinger's cat is to disprove some science, the ideas what we thought science was before? Kind of, to a degree, but that was one of the weird eras in psychology. It was like the beginning of behavioralism. Behavioralism is a bit interesting because of the fact that it's more about like interpretations and trying to find like rudimented systems, but it's less about like scientific like study.
Right.
So it's the beginning of the process to get to the point where we are now, but it's a bit outdated.
I feel like the idea of Schrodinger's cat comes into a lot of issues where it's like, I feel like to determine if the cat's dead or alive is, I feel like, a really dumb concept because it just leaves a lot of holes in it. Like, you know the cat's alive if it's been in there for about maybe only like a day. It's probably still alive because it hasn't starved. It hasn't like died from dehydration.
Of course, but I also think it's more of a broad thing than that. I think it's just supposed to be like a philosophical interpretation of a reality, for lack of a better term. Like, if somebody screams in the forest and nobody hears it, did anybody scream? It's just an extension of that.
Right. It's also like, does a tree make a noise when it falls over?
if nobody's around to hear it. Yeah, it's
Right.
the same thing.
Which it's like
So
the
do we
answer to
put
most
this?
of those
Do we
questions is
include this in
technically
the
yes.
episode, or do we put this as another bonus clip?
Yeah, we add this to the other bonus clip episodes. What we do,
Ah.
I think. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's continue. Okay.
Honestly, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
People in general vastly overestimate what they'll be able to do in a fight. Like, you know, some people are like, "Oh, I can take on like 5 guys at once." I've thought about this legitimately. You know how many people I think it would take to kill me? 3 people. I don't think I could fight against 3 people. Honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like it also like it just depends on like who you're talking about. If you're talking about like an average person, even like an average person could still kick someone's ass. It's just that like you don't have to be really strong to be able to win fights. You just need to know where to hit.
Precisely, but I feel like some people are like, oh, feel like they can take over the world, where some people vastly overestimate the capabilities of the human body.
Right, especially on adrenaline. Adrenaline's a powerful thing.
Oh yeah, that especially Cyberpunk 2020. I know I talk about Cyberpunk a lot, right? But they actually have a system in there where, depending on your, I want to say your cool stat or another stat, depends on how long you can fight before you die from adrenaline. Like,
Okay.
adrenaline running out. That just reminded me of that. I know it's a bit off topic, but
Yeah, it's still cool. I think it's still cool though.